Our team, so we're back, of course, talking about some Final Fantasy VII Remake, and today we have another one of those kind of weird discussions for the channel. This one's simply an observation, something that I've seen a long time ago when it comes to Remake, and I just haven't really been sure how to talk about it. I tweeted about it recently, never was even sure if I wanted to do a video on it, but here we are. And cutting through the bullshit and just getting to the topic of the video, whenever Cloud is going through the tunnel, the wormhole, whatever it is, to meet Sephiroth at the edge of creation, you can see a few times throughout that tunnel that there appears to be huge materia. Even viewing it at 4K 60 frames per second, which this captured footage is not, it's still really hard to get good quality images. And the only reason I've ever noticed it is because of making YouTube videos. It's having gameplay and videos in the background, pause at weird times as you're editing and cutting and stuff like that. It's the only reason I ever even noticed it, to be honest. Because if you just, it's such a quick scene, it goes by really fast. You can't, and you're warping through the tunnel really quickly. It's hard to even notice this shit unless you slow it down. The one that's the most prominent is the one right at the end of the tunnel, the red one. That's the easiest one to see for pretty much anybody. But all throughout, you can see what appears to be huge materia. And the only reason I call them that is, for one, the shapes are pretty damn similar from the original FF7, but also the color scheme is there. Red, blue, yellow, and green. Green was kind of hard to find, but actually, in making this video, I slowed the gameplay down as slow as I possibly could, which is 0.125 speed. I was actually able to find this right here. Again, it's not the best quality. Other than that red one at the very end of the tunnel, it's hard to get any good pictures of any of these because the scene's so quick. It's 3-4 seconds or something like that, and you're warping through the tunnel really fast. So if you slow down the gameplay, it's always going to be shit quality. And here's the problem we run into with this particular discussion is that I don't know if or what the purpose of this could be. If it even matters, it could just be a visual thing. Maybe the devs thought it looked cool. But it could also be something along the lines of maybe huge materia is going to play a bigger part when it comes to the FF7 Remake story. We're warping through this tunnel after, hitting Sephiroth and then meeting Sephiroth later after the tunnel at the edge of creation. Maybe Sephiroth is using the huge materia for something. Who knows? Maybe the huge materia isn't just something that's on the planet of Gaia. Maybe materia itself in general is kind of all around the universe. Maybe huge materia is a constant thing throughout the universe. I don't know, man. So when it comes to the original Final Fantasy VII, what we know about huge materia is, for one, it's obviously a lot bigger than regular materia. We see that in-game, we're told that in-game. We also know that it's extremely powerful, but that it's also made at the core of a Mako reactor. That doesn't mean that it couldn't happen out in the wild naturally, right? Materia itself can be manufactured. We see that all the time throughout the FF7 compilation, but it also is a naturally occurring thing as well. Now, of course, materia is a crystallized form of Mako. Mako is a liquid form of the planet's livestream, but what we do know is that there is a universal livestream out there. So there's theoretically could also be universal Mako, and then, of course, universal materia, or maybe even gigantic pieces of materia, huge materia-like objects out there in the universe for people to use and or manipulate. But ultimately, when it comes to this, I don't even know, again, if there's a purpose to it, because it could just be visual flair that looks cool. Maybe the devs just thought it looked cool. But I'm also somebody that thinks all the little details matter, and these didn't even have to be there. These what appears to be huge materia in this tunnel did not need to be there. They could have just had the tunnel warping scene, and that's it. That's all that needed to be. Also, these gigantic rocks that appear to be huge materia could have been any color, but from what I can tell, they're red, blue, yellow, green. So I feel like there is a purpose to it. I just don't know entirely what. This video is purely off the top of the head random discussion because this was never a planned video. It was something that I noticed a long time ago. Kind of forgot about it a little bit, was making a video recently and noticed it again. I was like, damn, I'm at least tweet about this. People found it pretty interesting. I don't know if I'm the only person that's ever noticed this. I've definitely never seen anybody else discuss it. It's such a brief scene, and I can imagine if nobody else has slowed down that scene specifically that they wouldn't have noticed it. If I had to try to give it a purpose or a meaning, what we're seeing from the singularity to the edge of creation all involves Sephiroth, so it's possible that Sephiroth is using the huge materia. Why wouldn't he if he has knowledge of the original FF7? They're really, really powerful materia. They're 330 times as strong as other materia. So who really knows what they're capable of, right? When it comes to original FF7, we only ever seen them used as weapons, right? There's a huge materia that powers the Junon cannon, for example, which is why the cannon is so powerful and absolutely decimates Sapphire weapon. But what if somebody were to take a huge materia and try to use it for its magical capabilities? Try to use it like a regular materia? Who knows what the hell it could do? Maybe Sephiroth is using some huge materia for whatever the shit is that he's doing in the remake story. Who knows, man? But my dudes, that is more or less the video. It's kind of a short and sweet video. It's really just an observation, something that I don't necessarily have answers for, and I don't even know if it's going to have a purpose or a meaning later. I hope that it does. It'd be kind of interesting if we actually see the huge materia play an even bigger part than it did in the original FF7, because it really didn't play. It was a part of the main story, but it'd be cool to see somebody, whether that's a villain, a hero, whoever, take the huge materia and actually use them again for their magical capabilities, and we really see what the hell those things can do. My dudes, that's the video. Pass off to you guys. So for one, the 2+ years now the remake's been out, have you ever even noticed this? Did you ever see these huge materia that are in that tunnel? They're 100% there. It's a matter of whether or not there is a purpose for it. But also, the fact that it is there, what do you think it means? Does it have a meaning at all, or is it just something that's visual? Either way, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't able to stay more Final Fantasy VII Remake content. Turn on notifications, follow me on Twitter, @YT. I'm a Discord. Links to most of those networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.